Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience with taking pills and my techniques and tricks for swallowing them. I have been taking pills since I was about 5 because I was on liquid medication for my arthritis at that time and it tasted horrible, and I was done with that, and I asked, can we please try a pill? And I don't really know how I developed my technique that I use, but it works well for me. I'm going to go over my basic technique to start. Number 1, I put the pills under my tongue before I'm ready to swallow. So, in that pocket behind your teeth, under your tongue. This helps in a couple of ways. I feel like I have them all controlled in one little basket. And then I don't know if it's that you have no taste buds under your tongue or that you have less, but I don't really taste stuff when I put it under my tongue. I do have dry mouth though, so I'm less likely to taste stuff. Then I take my beverage, and either if I'm drinking through a straw, I'll kind of direct it down where the pills are, or if I'm drinking out of a cup, I'll pour it down towards the pills. And what the goal is to get the water sort of down up under the pills, and they'll start to float. Simultaneously, I use my tongue to sort of flip them up. So I kind of dive my tongue down behind them and flip them up. And mostly my tongue never even really touches them if things go well. I tend to push the limit a little bit and put a lot of pills in my mouth at once, so I end up having times where things fly around my mouth uncontrollably, but that's my own fault. Once they're sort of suspended in your mouth in the liquid, then you swallow. And I find that I really don't ever have much trouble at all, A, getting them down, and B, the whole taste factor. Mind you, not all pills taste bad, but some do, and so that sort of leads me into bad tasting pills. And sometimes even this technique does not help with that. Prednisone is my nemesis as far as bad tasting pills go. I'm on it daily right now, which is unpleasant, and I don't look forward to taking it every morning. For that, there's a couple of different things. One is use a flavored beverage. The flavor of the beverage sort of helps mask the flavor of the pill. You might want to consider not using your favorite beverage because you'll start to associate it with the flavor of your pills, so that's probably not a good idea. And then obviously you need to make sure it's a beverage that you can safely take your medication with. Like, don't take it with grapefruit juice, because almost all meds can't be taken with grapefruit juice. My other sort of tip is right after you've taken it and swallowed it to eat something with a lot of flavor to help, like, wash the flavor out of your mouth. I also, again, don't necessarily recommend your favorite food for this because you're going to start to resent your favorite food. But something with a lot of flavor, like maybe gummy candy, or my go-to is marshmallows. I like marshmallows, but I don't love marshmallows. They're sort of like the perfect food, and they serve a dual purpose, and I'll explain that in a minute. But I keep them in this bag right next to my pills, so I always know where it is, and I have it ready to go when I take my prednisone. I use Weiss brand, which is my local supermarket is Weiss, and I like theirs okay, but they're not as good as like the Jet Puff brand because they sometimes have big air pockets in them, and they tend to stick together a lot more than the Jet Puff brand. You have to really pry them apart, and maybe if you're in a hurry to get it in your mouth because of the bad taste, that's not such a good thing. Oh, the other benefit to marshmallows is if you're the kind of person that when after you've swallowed, you feel like the pills really haven't gone down, a marshmallow is like the perfect thing to eat to force everything down, and you know everything went down into your stomach. I know that a lot of people with dysautonomia, which is another condition that I have trouble swallowing. So this is actually something I picked up from my grandfather. He used to take his pills at night, and we would all sit around and take our pills together when I would visit him, and then we'd all have our marshmallow, and then we'd all brush our teeth and go to bed. That's the marshmallow trick. I think it's probably something that could be useful for a lot of people, so I hope it helps you. As far as beverages are concerned when taking pills, when I was a kid, I kind of tended to prefer carbonated beverages because the carbonation helps lift the pills in your mouth. Again, maybe not the best choice to be taking your pills with, but if it's getting them down, it's getting them down. I found that my under-the-tongue pill-taking technique does work either with a straw or drinking out of a cup or a water bottle or something like that. I tend to not use flavored beverages, mostly because of convenience. I always have water, and I always have it where my pills are. That's a major factor. But the other thing is that I take over 50 pills a day. If I'm drinking that much of some kind of flavored beverage, that's a lot of stuff, like either calories or carbonation. I would be like exploding if I was drinking a soda for all that. When you're first learning to take pills, or if you're struggling with taking pills, take one pill at a time, even if you have a lot of them, until you are good with the technique, and then you can start building from there. I usually take handfuls of pills at a time, because if I took one at a time, again, for 50 pills, that's a lot of swallowing of any liquid, even water. If you're still having trouble with the flavor of a medication, you can consider asking for it in a different form. So it might be available from a different manufacturer in a capsule, which I've never had a capsule give me a bad flavor, so that would be good. Or you could consider asking your local compounding pharmacy if they can put the medication in a capsule for you. The other option is to get the medication in liquid form and have them flavor it, but in my experience, that really just sort of barely masks the problem and certainly does not make it go away, and you're still sort of left with that bad taste. I hope that some of these tips might be helpful to somebody. Until the next video, remember to love each other and be well.